Merhaba değerli konuklar. Sempozyumumuzun sanat ve pandemi başlığını taşıyan panelindeyiz. Çok değerli konuklarım var. Birazdan onlarla sanatı ve pandemiyi, daha doğrusu pandeminin sanata etkilerini konuşmak için bir aradayız. Birazdan çok ilginç bir konunun tartışılacağını düşünüyorum. Özellikle pandemi sürecinin sanatçılar üzerindeki etkisi, dünyanın farklı ülkelerinden sanatçıları nasıl etkiledi, buna değineceğiz. Tabii ki bu süreç toplumun bütün kesimini oldukça değişik şartlarda ve şekillerde etkiledi. Ancak pandeminin en çok etkilediği sektörlerin başında ve en çok etkilediği grubun başında sanatın ve sanatçıların olduğunu düşünüyorum. Özellikle hem sergi alanlarının pandemi için bir tehlike oluşturması hem de diğer başka bir takım sebeplerden dolayı sanat piyasalarındaki durağanlık özellikle sanatçıları oldukça fazla etkilemiş gibi görünüyor. Biz de bu sebeple farklı ülkelerden sanatçılarla pandeminin sanata ve onların sanatına etkilerini tartışmayı düşünüyoruz. Ben öncelikle konuklarımı tanıtmak istiyorum ama sözü ben WASEEM'e bırakmak istiyorum. Bugün bizim moderatörlüğümüzü onun yapmasını istiyorum. Ve diğer konuklarımızı da belki o tanıtabilir.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Firat.
You are welcome.
Hi.
So, Mala, maybe you can moderate this section.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. First of all, thank you so much for having us, and I am so excited to hear all these lovely stories. The work we have been creating during the pandemic, being an artist, we all know that we all have been affected, and we all have this always good and bad in every situation. So I would like. So it's been a quite good journey, I can say, being a visual artist. So I would like to introduce myself first, and then I'll go one by one. Does that make sense? So we will go a small intro together, and then we will go individual talk. So have a brief intro. So Laura, Paula, and Nastaran is going to give your brief intro. So first of all, my name is WASEEM, and I am based in Qatar from 10 years. I am practicing visual artist. I am trained as a visual artist from Pakistan, National College of Arts, Lahore. And then I moved to Canada with my husband for good. And we moved to Qatar for good. And it's been a lot, it's been a quite good journey. So these a lot of traveling between Pakistan, Qatar, Canada is quite give me good opportunity to explore more. And I have showcased my work internationally and locally, and my work is more about textures and layers. My work always talk about relationships and the area, the society, the places, and the color scheme and the textures and the layers we all are living into. So that's the brief intro of me. So Laura, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Mala. So I'm a Swiss Dominican American artist based in Zurich. That means I've lived in the Dominican Republic, the States, and Switzerland now for the past 6 years. And I've studied fine arts, and I've taught ceramics and other sort of creative workshops. I teach right now for the Aargauer Kunsthaus, which means the Museum of the City of Aarau in Switzerland. And I've also worked as a theater sculptor for the Zurich Opera. And now I'm very much focused on my studio practice, which consists of painting, drawing, video, and ceramic sculpture. And sometimes I dabble in printmaking. My work, as you'll see, it plays a lot with the abstract and the figurative, and also ask the question of what are we and what is our place in the universe. Thank you.
You, Paula, can you please tell us about yourself?
So yes, I'm Paula. I'm 36 years old from Italy. I started art when I was about 10 years old, and then I decided to continue the study for 5 years in art school. After that, I went to Florence for 3 years, and I studied e-design and illustration. My art is based most of characters and background. It's digital painting, so I use Photoshop for doing my art. And I like to see the world in another perspective, because it's not because I don't like how it looks like, but because I think I need more space between my imagination and reality. So I create something that it's in between reality and imagination. So I love to write also, and I wrote 2 books, one for children and one for adults, and illustrate them. Also, I work now for a company in America that is for a company in America that sorry, my English. And we are going to develop a movie with my characters and my story. And then I am working for a couple of clients for children books, and that's it.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Paula. That's lovely hearing you. I'm looking
Thanks
forward
to
to
you.
see more from you. So, how are you, Nastaran? Can you please tell us about yourself?
Yes, of course. But first of all, I want to say I'm not at all good at English. I'm good at Deutsch, Germany. But I'm Nastaran SHIRINSOKHAN from Iran, based in Tehran, who graduated from University of Tehran in painting. And I'm 27, and I live in Tehran and work as a teacher, Germany teacher, and artist. My artworks are figurative and usually drawing with pencil. And it's my pleasure to be here to see you and know you, and I'm happy that I have a chance to speak as an Iranian artist in this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, Firat, how would you like to start now?
Actually, I just want to listen, so I want because it's very hard for me to share my opinions with you. So maybe let's talk. Let's start with you, Mala.
All right, so I would like to, as this conference is called, we all are here to talk about art. During the pandemic, that's we all are being affected, and we have been going through. We all are together here in this journey. Especially being an artist, we all are. I felt like we all are very sensitive and very emotional, and we are very much sensitive towards the expression also. So what I did, because of this pandemic, my 4 of my exhibitions got cancelled, and it's been postponed first, and then it never happened again. So that's, I was very looking forward last year, but that happened. But it's a part of life, you know. So what I did, I wanted to share my work with you. What I did during my pandemic life, what I did, I revised. I went back to my paintings that I have been creating from years and years, and I revisited my paintings. So what I did during the current usage of digital era, so what I did, I photographed my paintings and I tried to make it digitally, as a printed copy, because I am trained as a textile designer. I'm holding my bachelor's in textile design and my master's in visual arts. So I thought, like, why not I do my paintings, revise it and re-look at it and see how I can do that. So let me see, I'm going to share my screen, and no, let me open my PowerPoint first, and then, okay, now, thank you for waiting.
When I see it, I will show.
Okay, got it. Got it. All right. So can you all see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I wanted to show you the second slide. In this one, you can see this painting. This painting is called 3 Easels and 3 Stories. This painting has been displayed in Rome last year. Last year, 10 January, when the pandemic was about to start, it was displayed there in Rome, in Medina Roma Art Gallery. What I did, I photographed the easel standing in the desert. As you all know, in Qatar we have desert. So I photographed the easels, and then I painted these easels, and then I make the repetition of these easels, and then I did with the acrylic painting. So what I did here, the size of this painting is 120 by 80 centimeters, and the repetition is just digital. So what I did here is the revisiting. So what I did the I wanted to remake one of my painting as a digital repetition of work. So the story behind is is the 3 easels representing 3 stories. And because in my childhood, what happened, there was a magazine came called 3 Women and 3 Stories, and my mom used to read that one, because on that time, 35 years ago, there was nothing for entertainment. So that was the only magazine for women to read at home, and it has lots of stories. So that's a kind of recall of my childhood to paint this. And this is what I did in my pandemic time. Then what I did next is I did the photography, capturing my shadows. In this first photograph, I went to desert. I'm wearing a long gown, and just myself, then one of my friend, then three more of my friends, and we tried to capture the shadow. And then I did the photo collage of the photographs of these photographs. I put them on a line of horizon, and this is what I recall. I spend my time how I can use this photograph more artistically or more maturely. The content, I want to change the content of being alone, being a couple, or being a family or being with friends. So this was the original image, and this was the edited version. So what I did, I repeat, invert, just like we do in textile design. Okay, so this is what I did. I revisited my work and then redo it. So shadow as a reflection of light, repetition, design, pattern, social and cultural patterns to define perspectives. So it is all about perspective, about your personal life, your social life, and then the repetition of life, and then going on and on and on. So this thing again, what I did this is one of my painting actually, and this painting came out from this photography shoot. So what I did, I placed the frame, the empty frame, on the floor, and I placed the box, and I photographed it. So when I photograph, it comes out like this. And then I did the repetition of this book, these frames, and then I recreate this image in which the repetition is there. So this is the actual painting which comes out from it. And this painting is size 100 by 80, I believe. And then during my time where I can't go, I was thinking what to do. So what I did, I repeat the same thing again and again as a pattern. So photography with empty frames and book with various shorts. This is kind of a dialogue, like I'm talking to myself. It's like my painting started to talk with me in various ways. So for example, if you can see this one, next one, I photographed myself. As we all know that Qatar is now being, everyone's eyes is on Qatar regarding 2022. So Qatar is hosting FIFA World Cup. So I went to the desert. I did photo shoot, throwing this football, and it was just a fun photo shoot. It was happened before pandemic, but then when I was like thinking how to take these photographs. So in a more mature artistic dialogue, so I juxtaposed. I did the layers. So there are 3 different poses. So I make it on a one line of horizon, and I pose myself accordingly, repetition. So it's again like a dialogue happening in me. Go back. So it's here. If you see, it's a kind of again the same repetition of myself, looking at myself, I'm looking at different direction. So because I don't know where the ear is going to be. So there are lots of questions, lots of dialogue happened during that time. So then I use the same thing, another way of myself in a silhouette, in which I feel like I'm more than 3 easels. I felt like I'm not like 3 easels, I'm like 4. So the idea is getting mature and mature every time I look at my work. So, and if I go to the next one, you can see I photograph myself lying down in a gallery with the books, with the phone, with the bed sheet. And then I did the repetition mirror image, and then I did here again image. So it's the kind of repetition, upside down, downside up, and then right side way. And here again, I change the positions of myself, making myself like more than a one person. So it is like that. So I felt like, there is more dialogue going in me rather than just me and my paintings. So this is also the same thing with different editing and different repetition. And just second last is this one. This is my favorite one because this is inspired by the self-portrait to selfie. And this one actually, I'm sitting on the roof, and I was in during the pandemic. I was so much in depression. I was like, what to do? So I captured my shadow, and then I juxtaposed it with the traditional Islamic geometric patterns. And I like doing it. I just wanted to keep it simple. And the size of this painting is 100 by 100 centimeters. And then what I did, once I finished painting, I did the repetition of that one digitally. So this is not actual painting. This one is actually just the digital piece. And then I tried looking into black and white. And then again, I say I'm more than 4. So before I was 3 easels, then I become 4 silhouettes, and then 4, and then 4, and then more 4. So I see myself maybe growing, or maybe repeating, maybe into a same conversation. And here, the last one, I did this photo shoot has in the desert has done in 2018 somewhere. But then I say, okay, let's look at this painting again. So this is the actual painting. The actual size is like 80 by 60. So I try to make myself double as a double dialogue, like in a perspective, and then here comes the repetition of the design. So so this is all it from my side. And if you are open, if you want to have any questions, you can ask question.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how you're using the photos and creating those patterns and having this multiplicity. And that brings me to 2 questions, actually. One is, what is the meaning of 4 for you? Is there a specific sort of cultural meaning that you're pulling from? Because, 4 can be good or bad depending on which culture you're looking at it from. And are you titling these works?
Yes, so these work, yeah, that's a very good question. These work are actually, it's a self-dialogue. It is socially connected as being a woman and being raised by a woman who is living independently. My mom raised us, 4 of us, me and my sibling. My father used to work in Middle East, and my mom, she was alone. She was raising us, and we only watched her. So let me just stop sharing this one because I'm playing with this. So yeah, can you see me now? All right. So yes. So the thing is that I was questioning, like, being a woman living in a society. We often suggest that we are sometimes we just repeating things. We always questioning. The being a woman is always like the lots of question. My mom is still asking. Sometimes she asks her, why this happened? Why this happened? Why this is happening? What has happened to me? So there's always inner dialogue and inner conversation, and the answers won't satisfy you actually. So if somebody answer your questions, you are only looking for the answers that you wanted to hear. So the answers are not going to satisfy you. So that's the only inner dialogue. So that's why I do repeat things. I do repeat my painting because maybe I'm just being wanted to repeat and wanted to show more, or maybe it's our society is like that. This is what we trained, and this is what somehow some women in some cultures in some society has been raised. So it is like that. So I feel like, is this happened to me as well? I felt like, it's natural that I've just been constantly asking same question to myself, and I could not find the answers. And sometimes it's okay to not have answers and just leaving questions. So I'm leaving the questions which are unanswered, and maybe someone else would see those 3 easels and they will not see anything. But for me, those 3 easels are my mom's story, that she has being one woman, but internally she is 3. So she is, and for me, I got inspiration from her, and maybe it's inherited into me. And now I am seeing myself more than 3. I see, being a woman, I see a lot in me. Things going on. So, and pandemic has, is a very big question mark on us. It makes us realize so many things that we haven't realized before it was. So thank you so much. And who would like to share their journey? And thank you so much for listening my journey. And I am so happy and pleased. And Laura, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Love to.
Thank you.
Let me share my screen with you all. Just one second. Make sure I'm in the right share screen. Sorry, my computer is asking for permission to be able to do this. Just one second. I apologize for the inconvenience. Can you see my screen already? Or are you...
No.
Sorry. No.
Not yet.
Okay. Is it working now? Are you able to see my presentation now? No?
No.
No, sorry.
Not yet.
Okay, I will try it again. Just one second. I've prepared. Okay. Now it should be showing my PowerPoint.
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's try it again.
Mala, can you explain
yeah.
how to fix it? Mala, can you explain how to fix it?
So Laura, what you're going to do is you are going to open your presentation first.
Mm-hmm. I'm there.
And then come back to the to this screen.
Okay, let's.
So open a separate window of your PowerPoint,
Mm-hmm.
and then click this window, and then click share.
Yep.
And then click share again, and then you're going to click application share. And then you choose your PowerPoint screen that you wanted to share.
I'm almost there. Sorry, I have been doing that. It just wants there's a security warning that it wants me to go into my system preferences.
Just click OK.
Yeah,
Yes,
I just have to get to it. Just one second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
I apologize.
Yes. No, not yet.
It's yeah, it needs some kind of. How
Can
about
you
someone else goes because I have to add. I have to give permission through my system.
All right.
Just one second.
Or you can send your presentation to Firat, and he's going to become your presentator. He's going to present on your behalf. And in the meantime, we can ask Paula, are you ready? Do you want to share your work with us? We can't hear you. Yeah, now you can hear you. Yes, thank you.
So I think I need to go to my Instagram page because I didn't at the time to prepare the presentation. So I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
So looking at my art during the pandemic, I think I found I had the time to find my interpretation of the word increase. I felt more about myself, and I had the time to think about certain things that maybe before I wasn't thinking about, and I create different characters that has like eyes closed because they are like me thinking, and all the background I did were like in the space or in the woods. I don't know. I think I miss that contact with the nature, and I miss the contact with the other people. So I find my art growing during this time, and people see that, and I thanks to that I found a lot of work to do. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, I think that the pandemic gives me the time to understand something about myself, and gives me the time to I don't know how to say in English, sorry. Give me the time for understand more about what was going on. I mean, I think so. I wrote something so that during the pandemic I've seen an important increase in my art. The situation created has sent many people into crisis due to the change of lifestyle, but above all due to the personal losses and the economic crisis of the world. Art could reach, in my opinion, more people, and that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paula. It's lovely hearing you. And I'm looking at your page now, Lost in Echo, and I can see
Yeah,
your
right.
characters. I can see the characters you have been doing. Are you doing this digitally? Which program you're using for these characters?
So I use Photoshop.
Yeah, you Photoshop.
Yeah.
All right. And what about the why? May I ask you just a
Yeah.
question? So why is this only one character in one image? So why is that
Yeah.
so? Or there are other characters also, or in one image there's one character,
Yeah.
and
Because
all the eyes are closed, as you said.
yeah. So during the pandemic, I found myself really down. I felt so lost, and I felt the anger from people, and because they lost parents, they lost friends, and so I found myself to think about a lot of things, and my character, I think, they just have eyes closed because they are thinking, and they are in the moment, be present in the moment, and also they are alone because I felt alone during the pandemic. So I create a lot of stories about the characters, and I found myself to go to another like dimension. I don't know, because this reality was like too much for me. Was like too bad for me, and I wouldn't see that reality because I don't know. It's like something I think I never think about it could happen something like that. So
So, Paula, do your characters, do you want to animate these? Do you want to bring them into real life, or do you want to have it still?
yeah, so I'm working with an animation studio in America, and one character of them, the one with the fly with the that is sitting inside the woods. I don't know. It's called. Let me see. So it's called Queen, and has had the lost on the bright lost over the head, and this character will be animated, and I create a story around her. She made me think a lot, and about the importance of our dreams, because I didn't have the time to dream
I think yeah, now we can see you. Yes, it's lovely hearing you, Paula. That's wonderful. We are
yeah,
so
I'm
proud
sorry.
of you.
I'm sorry for my English. I'm really sorry for my English because I want to speak like more clearly, but I don't have the right words to say in English, so I'm so sorry.
No, that's absolutely fine. You express yourself so wonderful. I'm so proud of you that you are still talking from inside. And I can see that your character, your feelings, and I really wish you all the best for your animation. And
Thank
I
you.
just follow you, and I hope your stories will become alive, and we all would be able to see you as
Yeah.
an animated artist. So that's
Yeah.
wonderful. And how about your books? You said you have written 2 books already.
Yeah. So one is about a fox and a girl, and it's a journey from it's a journey from the girl because she grow during this journey and learn about something from the fox, that there is like a magical things because the fox is speaking. So the fox says to the girl that maybe just some people could hear the animals speaking because you need to have you need to have the heart, the courage to hear the animal speaking. So, and that's one. But the other one, it's for adults, but it's just a coloring book. And I made it during the pandemic, and helps people to know more about themselves, because there are write some quotes that helps people to understand more about themselves. And that's it.
I had a look at your illustrations as well, and I wanted to say that I really love how atmospheric they are. Like, you feel like sometimes they're floating in space or in the woods, and it definitely gives you the feeling that it deals a lot with feelings and the sort of the introspect quality of the figures. And I especially noticed that with your work during the pandemic, where their eyes are closed and there's sort of an inward gaze going on. It's quite beautiful. It's a
Thank you.
I think because of internet connection problem, we can't see Nastaran, unfortunately. So I just want to ask Mala. I am very interested in Qatar Art Market in recently. So how what you can say us about Qatar Art Market? It is a kind of extraordinary market, as I see. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, we are actually we are very lucky, and we see a lot of good things happening now in Qatar. Qatar has been providing enormous platforms. There's so much platforms for not only for residents, also for foreigners like us, and you won't believe, like, there are always something happening in Qatar. There are like things like they invite artists for the presentations, for the exhibitions, and for live painting, and there are lots of things happening here. And because not only because of FIFA World Cup coming up here is not the only thing. The more thing is that there's a lot of museums open here, a lot of galleries opening here, and there are lots of open calls as well. So Doha Fire Station are taking applications for international artists. So if you go to their website, you will be able to apply online. If you wanted to come to Doha and bring your show on a larger perspective, Doha Fire Station is the place that you can apply. And Qatar is hosting a lot of art venues. There are lots of, but unfortunately, just because of this pandemic, last year, 2019 was a great boost in Qatar art scene. But in 2020, they just postponed and canceled. As I said, there are lots of things have cancelled, but they are again starting slowly and gradually. They are doing again. So I can see there's lots of things happening in Qatar, and in future there's a lot going to be happen. So do write to me if you are interested. If you're looking into venues for art scene in Qatar, I would definitely do my best to guide you. And just for a glance, just look at Doha Fire Station website. There you will see the open calls. And there's like there are a lot of exhibitions going on always. There's always something happening. It's like, being an artist, I'm like, you can't get bored. You always have invites. You always have to go to the gallery. Even like in January, we were like, with the limited audience, like 30% can go in the gallery. So, but it's still happening, and there are a lot more to come.
And being an artist in Turkey is not very easy. And I want to ask you again, being artist in Canada or being an artist in Qatar, which is better for an artist?
You won't believe, I would say I'm so lucky that I'm in Qatar, and it's so blessing that I'm in Qatar, because if I would in Canada, I would never get chance to do 5 shows in a year. And from living in Qatar, I managed to showcase my work in Istanbul last year, and I did my show in Rome last year. I did my show in Canada. But if I would be living in Canada, honestly speaking, it's not that many places or the things I can do. Living in Qatar is being amazing. It allows me to showcase my work from different venues, and I think it's been 10 years. So my last year 10 years, and my previous 10 years, I've been graduated. It's been 20 years now. So, and I'm working as a full-time art teacher here in Qatar. I'm teaching senior diploma students here as well, and I got a lot of opportunities here. So I don't think that if I would be in Canada, I would be that much successful. Yeah. Of course, if there's everything happened, I met with the last year. There's one Canadian artist, Riza Dost. He's from Vancouver. He's a very well-known artist, and he visited Qatar. He actually came to Qatar through Doha Fire Station application. So he was like, he did not wanted to go back to Canada. He came for an exhibition, imagine, and he was like, oh my God, I don't want to go back. He falls in love to Qatar. And I was like, yes, it is like that. So there is like quite a lot, the art scene is really good, especially because of the museums and the involvement of Her Excellency is really, really meaningful to us. So nobody wants to go back to like I moved from Canada, so people ask me, do you want to go back? I say no, Qatar is my home now. I don't want to go back. So this is it. So where it is, when you settle, your life settles. So it's like that.
Just need a small break. I want to announce something in Turkish. Değerli dinleyenler, eğer sorularınız olursa katılımcılarımıza, Katar'dan, İsviçre'den, İtalya'dan katılımcılarımız var. İran'dan katılımcımız henüz yayına bağlanamadı. Ama hazır böyle uluslararası bir ortamı bulmuşken, eğer sorularınız olursa YouTube'dan ve Facebook'tan sorularınızı yazabilirsiniz. Ben dilim döndüğünce çevirmeye çalışacağım ve sanatçılarımıza sormaya çalışacağım. Şimdilik tekrar dönüyorum. Let's go on. Sorry. Okay, Laura.
Okay, so now I've given the right safety clearances. It should work just fine. Let me just get you to the presentation. Okay, so now you're seeing my presentation, right?
Yes, excellent.
Okay, perfect. So now I'm full screen, so I don't see you guys, but you see me. Okay. So as I mentioned in my introduction, I've, lived in a few places. I'm a transnational person, but the things that come up as in my work are a lot of references to the African diaspora, to science, and also to Dominican folklore. Here you see sort of a little bit of the diversity of my work, where I really like to work with sculpture in plastics or papers or ceramics, and also in painting and drawing. And as you'll see, I also dwell in video. So this is a breakthrough that I had during the first sort of month of the lockdown in Switzerland. And at the beginning of the lockdown, I saw a lot of the negativity that was going around, and I sort of set, how can I say that? I set myself up to just keep going and focus on the positive and on all the good opportunities and privileges that I have, as being able to have, even if it's a small one, a studio at home, and being able to really devote all the time that was freed up from work to paint and to develop new work. So this is a breakthrough piece for me, where a lot of my interest, I was able to express a lot of my interest and a lot of things that I'm usually very reserved about. So there is the focus of this piece is to give equal importance to the macroscopic and the microscopic, such as, for example, human bodies are at the same scale as microscopic organisms, such as radiolarians, for example. They're only visible through a microscope, and it mixes all those references to offer the viewer a non-hierarchical view of the world, almost as a tool to be able to create our own identity or question our place in the world, using not sort of the cultural lenses that we've been given, all of these sort of hierarchies that and classifications that human beings tend to look at the world through, but to give a much more sort of freer, broader view that sort of takes into account science as well as magic or tradition. This is an image of the Ife, which is something that comes up in my writing. I did a small writing piece about this work that I'll just briefly read for you. It's called Murmurs of the Deep. The deep murmurs of the myriad life forms that sprung from its crevices eons ago. The civilizations that voyaged on its surface. The secrets of the Ife, as told by the many lives it gobbled up. And lastly, of eons to come, when all the noise has gone. So the Ife, which I talk about in this short poem, if you would, is marked right there on the second dot from the left. Is a point of reference for a lot of African diasporic peoples, such as myself, and it refers to a part of my culture that was not accessible to me because of colonialism and post-colonialism in the Americas. So this is a detail of that piece where you can see a bit of the sort of drawing loose quality of the work, and the color palette that I'm working with, where I'm starting from this deep indigo colors that I'm mixing, and then applying sort of lighter shades of grays and blues. So it creates this kind of underwater feeling or outer worldly feeling that I was going for, just sort of thinking about depth and eternity. And as I mentioned before, the radiolarians are something I look at a lot, especially Ernst Haeckel, Art Forms in Nature, which is a beautiful, thick book full of engravings and drawings. Is the one you see on the left side here, of these microscopic organisms that have been around for, like, I'm trying to look at the number, 600 million years or more, and that form this intricate, beautiful, diverse silica skeletons you're looking at. And I continued throughout this year, actually, I've continued to work on this series of paintings, and I'm pushing different aspects of this an analysis of the world, if you would. This sort of view of using my imagination, science, history, to get a new perspective on myself and on humanity at large, if you would. Surge out of my grappling with difficult realities. As a child, I witnessed how the Caribbean Sea was being brutally polluted by plastic and other debris, and that's something that very much affected me. That's probably part of why I'm so fascinated by the oceans as a sort of a rich habitat that had some of the first life forms, but it's also very much threatened by our current way of doing business and producing goods in the world. And I also, part of why I seek to have this perspective is by trying to define myself and not allow myself to be defined by my place of origin or my race in the way in which it would be often defined in the societies that I've lived in. So this is a video that I did using that piece, Murmurs of the Deep 2, as a starting point. Basically, I digitalized the piece and then I proceeded to animate it. Sorry. Now we're back at the view. Yeah. So I'll just show you a quick snippet. This is really just a snippet of the original. The actual video is about 8 minutes long, and different parts of the piece just sort of break apart and lose their shape. And it was kind of an exploration of this idea that everything is made out of the same basic substances in a way, carbon atoms basically, or everything that's alive or that we consider to be alive. And it played with that fluidity of being one thing but not feeling limited to just being a human in a way. It mixes the figure with the other life forms in it and with the water in which it all is. So let's stop then and go to the next slide. Another big reference in my work has been Taino sculpture. The Taino were the Aborigines of the Dominican Republic and much of the Caribbean, and their civilization flourished in that region and before the arrival of the Europeans, or the Spanish to be specific, in 1502. This is one of their sculptures that's very common. It's a form that repeats itself. It's an image of the god Yucatan. And what attracted me to this image and to this form or this way of sculpting is that the Taino created sculptures that evoked things that were apparently disparate or very different, but that makes sense in one body. Like in this figure, in this Yucatan here, we see these points look like they could be mountains, but sometimes they refer breast, and sometimes they even have very descriptive part of breast, or this landscape will have a face to it. And that was very attractive to me, sort of this mixing of different forms or seemingly disparate forms into one. So following that same idea is how I approach some of my sculpture at times. Here you see a ceramic sculpture that I created. This called Murmurs of the Deep, I Remember Being You. And it plays with this idea that depending on from which angle you look at the sculpture, you get a different read. It might look like a coconut or a shell or the shell of a nautilus. But if you look at it from above, as this view shows here, you're basically looking at a human bust, and you recognize the back of the skull and the neck and the shoulder blades and ears. Another reference, but here you see the sides and so forth. Another reference for this piece is fossils, the Dickinsonia acostata, which is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, known animal. And it's so abstract that researchers and scientists actually had to pull samples from the fossils to realize that was fossilized fat, so that they could classify it as an animal. And that was, of course, very appealing to me, as I like to sort of question what we are in a way, and what is our connection to the natural environment and to other animals and to the universe. And yeah, Dickinsonia acostata is from what's known as the Avalon explosion, which precedes what most people think of when they think about new life, which is the Cambrian explosion. So it's really from way back. which of course I found fascinating. It goes back to this idea of deep time and how much of Earth's history it's outside of our comprehension almost, or yeah, we comprehend it in a scientific way, but it's such expanses of time that it's difficult for us who live, 100 years if we're lucky, to sort of really understand how long that is. This is another piece that I finished working on during the pandemic, which is this vacuum form plastic mask that looks like a Dominican carnival devil, but that was more of a performative piece, and it was interesting to create something that felt so like it could really protect me, even though it's open at the bottom. It doesn't really protect you from getting COVID-19, but you feel very much sort of insulated, and yet you can see through. The original intention of this piece was through the wearing of this costume, this Diablo Cojuelo, that means like limping devil, which are sort of mischievous characters of the Dominican carnival that go around hitting people with cow bladders and whips and sort of being mischievous and doing whatever they feel like doing. It was an experiment in giving myself that same kind of permission as a woman that is usually only granted to men in that culture. And it's also an interesting, aesthetically very appealing to me because it has thorns and scales, and it's an animalistic kind of character. So here you see my process of working, and another one of the Murmurs of the Deep Tree, where you can see how I build up the layers, how I start with the anatomy, the figures, and then the characters start to live. That's how I think about it, and things start to happen to them, like there'll be growths on their backs, or they'll be encased in the skeleton of a radiolarian, and that will, for me, completely change their scale. This is that piece finished, so you see quite a bit happens to the piece. So there's this, I start with the photo reference, and I create a digital photo collage, and then I go into the painting and I get the anatomy just right, or just how I want to have it. I exaggerate some things, change others, and then it goes into this freehand drawing where I'm dealing a lot with using lines to sort of describe movement and energy. There's another detail of that work. And there you see different applications of painting as well that for me have to do with speed, or what's happening is something bursting out, like we see the tentacles on that shoulder blade, or is something or is a figure just being massive and staring, and then that has a different treatment when it comes to the application of the paint. This is another process painting that I did. It's a very different way of working, where I started with a very loose drawing and then proceeded to play with color, integrate a different kind of energy in my work. And again, there was the undertone to a lot of this work is as well, not just that I'm home because of the pandemic, but also there was a lot of social unrest in the States, and a lot of people getting hurt, and I think that was a part of me just not wanting to feel defeated by all these negative things that were going on, and just pushing through with my work. There's certain determination that comes through when I remember what my mental state was when I made a lot of this work. And this is my first completed work of 2021. There's a lot more in the making, and it's a large format. Like the first one is 160 by 100 centimeters, and again, it's that exploration of what does it mean to be human. The sort of closing statement in my artist statement kind of encapsulates a lot of what this work is about. So I'm just going to briefly read it. In my series Murmurs of the Deep, I've created a world in which our communion with the cosmos and nature is unmediated by cultural valuations and static ideas of identity. The deep doesn't know nor care for our morals and prejudices, and so simultaneously embraces and devours us. And that's it. So thank you so much. Here you see some of my website and my Instagram if you would love to, stay in touch. Let me see if I can get out of this presentation. No. Okay.
That's amazing, Laura. It is so impressive. This is so amazing.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful. It's not only conceptual, or we can say a mature content, or fully loaded with concept and story and your reflection. It also shows your the skill, the details, the delicate, your connection, the way you are doing it. So huge well done to you. I'm quite impressed with your work, and it's lovely hearing your work. And I wanted to ask you that the most, I don't know, being me as you're looking at your work as an artist, I found that the moving part when you are working, when your paintings are still, it has a very beautiful story. It's saying a lot. Even if it's still, the lines are saying a lot. But when it comes to the moving part, when you animate it, oh, the whole drama is changed.
Yeah.
So I can see that. So how did you see yourself in the still image and then the moving image? How did you find out you see your work as an artist? You say, all right, this is saying more a lot, or this is like too much, or what do you say? Because I found it really impressing when the lines started to float and move, and at the same time it's showing the space, and at the same time it's taking me deep down in the sea where I'm swimming in the dark, and it's also taking me to the different layers. So I found that moving part really interesting, and it has, I feel like I got connected. I felt like, oh, that's me. So for you, as you see the stills more as you, or the moving as you more?
I think they're both me, and I really love making them. Like I love working on video. That's something I do for my work as well. So I do also live video with people, just talking about art. The moving image is so seductive, and there's something very instinctive about seeing something move and thinking that it's alive. And I think a lot of what happens when I'm working on my paintings, I am trying to evoke movement, and then when I create the animated versions, it's almost as if I can show that movement to someone else. So that's definitely something that I want to keep exploring, and sort of, even creating other types of animations with my paintings. But yeah, it almost like for you, like your starting point is also the paintings, and then you go into the computer and you multiply them, but it still has that static from the painting. I think we have a similar desire to sort of keep the brush stroke and the surface of the paint there, even if it may move or it may repeat. Yeah.
So what are your next intention? What you're looking yourself into, where you're taking your painting to the next level?
So I've been kind of dreaming about working in really, really large scales lately, and I would love to do that. So I'm applying for some special studio spaces so I can do that. So to really create pieces that are immersive in their scale. And I hope to do that as well with film, to be able to project my my animated shorts on a truly large scale, the way that it would be on an IMAX almost. I think that's kind of the next step for me. Yeah. Oh, I don't hear you, sorry. Sorry, I just missed the last part, like it went mute. I don't know why, sorry.
No, I'm also seeing when you are saying, I'm also imagining your work going to be projected on a larger scale. Just imagine how magnificent it's going to be look like. I can visualize this now as you say this. So I really want you to say all the best and good luck. And it's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been wonderful talking to you too, and like really inspiring to see what you've made out of this whole situation. Like, yeah,
yes, and I think we all are moving into some sort of it's kind of transformation from the painting, our traditional expression, and now we all are moving to the digital era where we wanted to digitalize. We are going to do pic collage, we're going to do edit, we're going to make it project, we're going to make a video, just like Nastaran is doing the video animation, the character of herself closing eye, and you are making your paintings, your work very intricate, very line work, and then the lines are moving. It's so mesmerizing. And so I think this is all happened because of pandemic. We all are, like this Zoom meetings, and these were not being in common. If we were in 2018, we won't think of having Zoom meeting and seminars online. So we will be doing in physical, in person, we will be doing that. But due to this pandemic, we all slightly transforming. We are merging towards the requirement as an artist survival. So I think this is all we all are doing. And thank you so much, Faraj, for having us. And this is lovely. It's been lovely listening through your platform, having these beautiful ladies and their lovely work.
You are welcome. I want to thank you all, but we have some questions want to answer. Okay. Firstly, Uğur Gökçe asks, is there any government support for artists or art galleries in your country during the pandemic? Is there any support?
If I would say during the pandemic is the slightly changed situation, but as we go through, if the pandemic is going to be over and vaccine is going to be successful, travel will be normal, then definitely Qatar do a lot of international artist call. So do look at Doha Fire Station website. They always have open applications and you can apply and it will be funded, and it will be if you meet the criteria. There are some jury, there are some panels, so they're going to have your interview, and definitely they would be have you if you qualify for that. So just wait for the travel, and maybe they're going to be you can look for the online opportunities as well of art galleries in Qatar also. If you will art galleries, you will get the list of the art galleries, you will see the museum, and there are lots of things that you can participate still, but just I'm not sure about pandemic because still we are here and there's still we have lots of our activities has been postponed because our safety is first. So and our art is it can just is our expression. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I would add, if anyone is interested, Pro Helvetia from Switzerland is usually they select countries that they're going to work with, and they give art residencies where you get a monthly stipend and a place to stay usually. So those are pretty good opportunities. That and BINC 39, it's a BINC 39. they usually have like a guest country. I would recommend looking at the Visarte.ch. That's VISARTE.ch. There you see the listings for Switzerland and Switzerland AIR.ch as well. There's usually like exchange programs that are pretty good for international artists.
And is there any question? I just want to see. And another question, if you have time, we have time. Okay, so let's answer. Murat asks, where is the Murat's question? Yes. What about, what do you think about it? The artist's visual and aesthetic preferences changed after the pandemic, or no sense?
In the country, that's a good question actually, because it depends. The colors, yes, because it depends which region you are living, like cold region, hot region. Your region really impact on your choice of color, what you are wearing, what you're using in your painting. For example, I am living in Middle East, right? So I don't know, it's conscious or unconsciously, I always pick beige and brown and blue and greens. If you look into my page, and you will see all my paintings are just natural, just like, because we see desert here, so brown, beige, blue, the sea, and green. And so I think that's because where I'm living. So yes, colors are do affect artists, and people's visual and aesthetic preference change after the pandemic. Yes, definitely. We have been changed a lot. Our visual, our aesthetics, our sense, is changed. We all are not spending our money on our wardrobe or our makeup or our things. We have been started. The people has started saving money. People has realized how and what and how to spend money, because people values their aesthetics, they change, they are thinking more now, what to buy, what not to buy, what is essential, what is and people are more aware, people are more conscious now. So I think this pandemic has changed our thinking, our aesthetic, our expression also changed. So I think it's been a lot. It's not only here; it's all over the world. People has been changed, and it varies person to person where they are living.
Yeah. I haven't noticed that there's like a change in a particular aesthetic, but I've noticed that there's an interest in art as healing. There's a lot of talk about art figures such as Emma Clint and Emma Kunz, who had practices that were in between healing and art. And that's interesting to see a lot of people sort of a resurgent interest in art as a way to offer a relaxing change from the routine, from the everyday. Yeah.
As the previous question, so the answer for this recent question is that the views on regarding the role of pandemic and changing life practices all over the world on the cultural differences in paintings. I would say that pandemic has played a very dramatic role on artists and their perception and their execution. So the way we execute our paintings is way more different than we were used to. So me being an art teacher to the diploma courses, so because of the pandemic, we were like using and sharing our material, but now we won't allow. We're not using and sharing resources. So everyone has to have come up with their own resources, and the most safest expression is only by doing your digital art. So all of my students, they are so good because last year they have been so much on computers, so much on my iPad, they're so much on their Photoshop and they're editing with their digital pens. They are so good at it. So whatever they do, they have their concept, they have their ideas, and they come to me, Miss, this is I wanted to do, this is I wanted to take it and make it in a larger perspective, and this is I wanted to do. So yes, it's been changed all over, it's not only here. So being an artist, being art students is continuously changing, and people has been the cultural difference, as the question is about cultural difference. Yes, it has changed a lot. Cultural differences, that I think we all are coming so close, and the awareness is so good, and the cultural acceptance is getting more. We are accepting everyone more maturely, and we say yes, yes, this is you exist, this is your place. We all are different, we all are acceptable to each other, we all are humans, we all are same in a same boat in this pandemic. So yes, I can say that. So we all are changed, and we are moving. I hope this change is good, is better. It will take us to the new era, and which this era is going to be in the history of art. So when the people will in 2080, they will open the book and they will see, oh, that's the history of art. People in 2020 used to do art like that. So we are making history now.
Yes, we would prefer to make a different history, but unfortunately, this kind of history, right?
Yes, so we enjoy that. Yes.
So Laura, you want to say something?
Oh, yeah, I feel, it's interesting. I feel like on many points, sort of the pandemic has it propelled people to do the digital change that was long overdue. Like I see that in a lot of the museums, and because I work in a museum, there is a push towards digitalization that should have happened a few years ago, but didn't because they didn't have the pressure to do it. And now it's happening. That's definitely making art more accessible to people, which is a plus. That's completely positive. It's been an interesting sort of point because it's also allowed people to take a step back and have more time to they don't have the usual events and other sort of commitments, so you can also take that time to get new skills and try out new things, which is a lot of what I've been doing at work, to sort of working with new media and figuring out how can we show things and talk about things on a purely digital level. I think it's also, as I think Mala mentioned earlier, that it's becoming less localized. It was so that when someone will have this type of panel, that would invite people in the region who could attend, and just having everything online opens up the door for people to have an exchange that's more based on common interest and on the work rather than geographical location. And that's been super interesting for me. I've been getting calls from, my friends back in the States, back in the Dominican Republic, and just sort of been able to, participate in events that are happening on the other side of the world. That's definitely the silver lining on this situation.
Thank you very much. And I see there's no question, so I think we should finish the session. And I want to thank to you all. We are very glad to see you here, glad to host you here in this event. And let's wish maybe next year we will make it again, but not in as an online event. Maybe in Turkey, we will happy to see you here.
Yes, sure.
It would be nice.
Thank you so much. That would be lovely, nice. Thank you so much, Farad. It's amazing. It's lovely. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Nastaran. We unfortunately we couldn't see her the closing words, but we love her work as well. And thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation, Firat, and for hosting. Mala, it was really great to see.
Thank you. Same here. Bye bye.
Değerli katılımcılar, bu oturumu da burada kapatıyoruz. Bütün katılımcılarımıza çok teşekkür ediyorum. Laura'ya, Mala'ya. Nastaran maalesef İran'daki VPN sorunlarından dolayı bağlanamadı. Yine Paula'ya, İtalya'dan katılan arkadaşımıza çok teşekkür ediyorum. Bu yayını burada sonlandırıyoruz. Bir sonraki oturumumuz saat 9'da kapanış oturumumuz. O oturumu da yine YouTube'dan canlı olarak dinleyebilirsiniz. Teşekkürler, iyi akşamlar.